A UN official is expressing concerns about Canada's temporary foreign workers program, saying it could be a breeding ground for exploitation.
I am disturbed by the fact that many migrant workers are exploited and abused in this country.
That is Tomoya Obokata, the UN rapporteur in charge of looking into contemporary forms of slavery, and he made those comments in Ottawa after a 14-day visit. He is not the first to call out what he described as abusive, inhumane working conditions. With a closer look at this issue here in Canada, we're joined by the Executive Director of the Migrant Workers Alliance for Change, Syed Hussain. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's put into context what he had to say. He spoke with people right across Canada. What did he hear?
So he met with our members of the Migrant Rights Network in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Moncton. And across the country, people told him how they are facing abuse and exploitation, low wages, sometimes no wages at all, living in substandard housing. I just want to make clear, he was not talking about just about temporary foreign workers, but the entire temporary migration scheme, international students and undocumented people. And he called it, and people are facing human rights abuses, undocumented families are living in fear of detention and deportation, unable to pay for healthcare. Many families are choosing death over health. And as a result, he called it a breeding ground for slavery.
Last summer, you and I spoke. This is when Jamaican migrant workers in Ontario wrote an open letter that compared their work to systemic slavery. We've heard this comparison again. They said, we are treated like mules and punished for not working fast enough. We are exposed to dangerous pesticides without proper protection. Our bosses physically intimidate us, destroy our property, and threaten to send us home. I'm curious, what happened to those workers after this open letter?
So after this open letter, the Jamaican government sent a so-called fact-finding mission, and under huge pressure, decided to say that it was actually, the conditions were bad, but they were not slavery. So the word slavery became the debating point. But the workers themselves were actually barred, they were blacklisted, which means the employer found out and made sure they could not come back to Canada. And so they're all there, and we've been trying to bring them back. So the group of workers who are our members who spoke up, they experienced exactly what they thought they would.
It's important to remind everyone these are not isolated incidents. And in fact, temporary foreign workers make up 15% of Canada's agricultural workforce. In 2021, there were 777,000 temporary foreign workers in this country. It's worth taking a look at. Ottawa points to measures including random inspections and the appointment of the Canadian Ombudsperson for Responsible Enterprise as some of their actions to address the problems with the treatment of migrant workers. What do you think of that?
There are absolutely no random, unannounced inspections taking place by any province or the federal government in any of the industries that are migrant dependent, whether that's agriculture, whether that's care work, whether that's so much of the transportation system.
So you're saying that's not happening?
It's simply not happening. There are no unannounced inspections. It's just not happening.
The number of temporary foreign workers in Canada, we know, has increased, as we said, in the last 20 years or so. So what changes do we need to make this program better?
I just want to clear up the statistic. There are actually about 200,000 temporary foreign workers, but there are many more international mobility program workers, international students. They have slightly different rules. But in total, there are actually 1.2 million temporary residents entering the country each year. And all of these people are unable to speak up for fear of reprisal because they don't have permanent resident status. Now, Tomoya Obokata, the UN rapporteur, said that permanent resident status is the only solution. You know who else said that? Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in his mandate letter instruction to the Minister of Immigration in December 2021. And today, 20 months later, nothing has happened. This is why this weekend, when Parliament returns in 16 countries across the country, Migrant Rights Network will be out in the streets calling for status for all their protests in 16 cities, including in the Atlantic during the hurricane, because we know what the right thing to do is. The Prime Minister has said it. This UN report has said it. Multiple experts have said it. Migrants have said it. These are not isolated incidents. These are breeding grounds for exploitation. They must be changed, and permanent resident status is the only solution.
And it's all happening on home soil. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.